Hey, this is Justin Tyler, aka Trisha Marvella. I was doing a video this morning. Just got out of the dentist office and gonna get some work done. I'm excited about that. Anyways, it is beautiful out here. I wanted to show you how beautiful it is. Hopefully, you can see all that. But anyways, I wanted to make a video about the ways of the world. And I know I've done that a lot, and I'm sorry. It seems to be, I had a lot of information suppressed that I wanted to get out, so I had to make that many videos. But now I wanted to talk about the end times collective consciousness and how the world is pretty much going to crap because people are not actually focusing on what they need to do for survival. And I wanted to explain how that actually is beneficial to mankind instead of being a follower and constantly going and going and going all the time, because when you do, you lose track of importance and you become dependent off of friends, you become dependent off coworkers to feel good about yourself. But naturally, that's okay to an extent, but where is your core being actually going into what you put out in life? What is it that bothers you the most about the world? You guys can message me if you want and comment, because I got some time. And anyways, there's this really cool group that I wanted to suggest to the world. They're called the Sect of the Horned God. They are a Satanist group. And I believe this myself, that communicating with Chronos, he is like another personality of Lucifer. And just by talking to him, he helps bring out common sense and, excuse me, common sense. And he's the elite male energy of the planet. So when he thinks about the questions that you ask him, he really does dig deep down and lays things out, and gives you blunt answers, good information. So I just want to warn everybody, if you're not into theism, and this is a part of being a magician that I am, that you know that as a master Luciferian, you know that God is not real, but yet you're still able to communicate with gods. So you're a spiritual atheist is the base of your belief system. And then when you feel comfortable and centered within yourself, like imagine yourself in a circle and you've completed all the tasks that you've, questions about the planet. Is it flat? Is it round? Where are all the planets? You have that map inside your mind, implanted inside your mind. You know where all your chakras are. You know where, how to do special exercises to open up chakras, do, etc. So this is a part of the path that I'm on. It's a left-hand path. But anyways, the end of the world and having this knowledge and why it's so important that I'm giving this out to you, and also the Horned God, the Sect of the Horned God, it helps you to understand the facts of reality, that our species has become dumbed down by the government, by television and the media, and what's cool and what's not cool, and not knowing where to take the next step, I think, is where everybody's lacking in life, because we know that we want change. We know that when there's a problem, having a good head on your shoulders and being as realistic as possible and is what you need before anything else. Um, Anyways, so the the sect of the Horn God was explaining the things that I've come to realize after witnessing what I have on Facebook, is that people have let themselves become stupid. You choose to allow yourself to believe lies, and you choose with your mind and your belief system that if you choose to allow yourself to become affected by somebody else's opinion and you get mad, that shows that you have a weak mind. And this is another video that I will be making next, is about how to master yourself, your mind, and emotions. But it's really a travesty. Like, we are in the end times. Nobody's taking advantage of making a better world and creating a better government, because what is happening at the root is more important than what's happening at the exterior with all of the glam that's being given to you to distract you. But anyways, people wonder about this force. They wonder about, regardless of everybody's worry, what are you going to do about it? Because regardless of the force of Satan being a god, he is a force, but he's also within you. And if you allow him to be in your mind without assuming and having toxic beliefs that can affect your subconscious when you're talking to him, please know that he is not a part of any cult that is involved with pedophilia. Never was. They have always used his face as a way to strike fear into people so that they're afraid of talking to Satan, because the Illuminati found out that Satan and the Horn God are our true gods, and they used those images in publicity. And in my opinion, I believe a lot of it is hoaxes. They create hoaxes that are fake news to create fear. So anyways, regardless of that, please keep note of that. Lucifer does not hate you. He wants you to dig deep in your own mind and know that you matter. Regardless what anybody else says, you have to know how to protect yourself. You have every right to do that, and he is all for human rights. And why are you so afraid of a demon god that is simply half goat, half man? He doesn't attack people. Yeah, he's a spirit. He's like a ghost. He's got power, but that and being omnipresent, but he wants the best for humanity. And if people actually gave the time to setting aside their differences and beliefs and tried to contact him themselves with offering, that could simply be a piece of candy. One of his favorite holidays is Halloween, because it's all about the darkness. And I gave him a pumpkin the other day, and he's really inspiring. So either way, the elite force, to me, known as Satan, sees how stupid the world has become. And if the government takes over and the New World Order begins, whose fault is it? He's not like a god that you can imagine that will save you from yourself. He's not going to come swoop down out of the sky and say, oh, I saved you from all the hateful people that walk in front of you every day and call you names. He wants you to stand up for yourself. He is the fire of hell. And people don't have the concept of what hell is to Satan. and how to use it. It's a magical thing that is actually inside of you, and it's made up of anger. And when you master yourself, you know how to use it by combining it with your wisdom and your understanding and knowing that self-control is self-respect. So anyways, people come out of the blue. Sometimes they call you names because you look different, like, me. You can give them the cold shoulder. And like I said, his personality is a combination of collective consciousness of the truth. He is not Yahweh. He is the expectation that we have of the Christian God times 1,000 with justice itself, because Jesus in the Bible, that's a separate entity than Yeshua. I've talked about it, but Yeshua was a real person, an atheist that the government discriminated against, and um, you know they want to rule humanity. So that's why history has been changed to our knowledge, because they don't teach the truth in school. They only give you bits and pieces, and they give you, here in America, they teach you American history. And then if you want to know more, you have to learn it in college, which is understandable, but it's just really, really sad. But regardless of the withholding of information by the education system, the whole entire planet, if you could take a step back from our planet, look at it. Think about the system that was created and the root, who is in control. You would expect a giant company, say metaphorically, that company is the government. You have to constantly be aware of what they're doing all the time, and be a community member and be a part of the solution. If you want change, you have to stand up, you have to vote. I'm so disappointed that this country doesn't seem to care that TV and being cool and being a follower is more important, and your image is more important than the change that has to happen in this country. Regardless of whatever God you believe in, whether you're a pagan, Satanist, Wiccan, whether you are, Catholic, you're still a human being. You still contribute by being a participant on the planet, and you need to be realistic and take accountability for your actions. So regardless of that, the elite idealism that people are supposed to have, if they could set aside their distractions for one day, give yourself an hour of free time to think about the things that you're worried about. Think about the ways of the world and where it's actually going and why. And what can you do about it? One of the biggest things right now is that they are prepping for how they're going to poison humanity, because the health department has more jurisdiction than police do. If somebody hands you food in a restaurant and they're not wearing gloves, it's legal for them to do that, because they passed a law in Seattle underneath everybody's noses that they are allowed to pretty much spread germs without you knowing. They could brush their pants, where they just, wiped in the bathroom, put their apron up in the bathroom at Taco Bell, wiped their hands on their shirts, and then made you a cheeseburger and just threw it in the bag and gave it to you. Guess what? Now that's legal here in Washington. If you try to call the police for sabotage, guess what? They say, the police will say, we don't handle those situations. Oh, why? This guy just handed me a burger with crap on it. Like, there, you could witness poop yourself, and they could still get away with it. So, I mean, as those examples of terror are happening right now in Washington, nobody's doing anything about it. I could complain and complain and complain, and all they're going to do is send the health department to those people to manage them and protect the criminal that sabotaged your food, that purposely handed you your plate with no gloves. That shouldn't be allowed anywhere. So I'm wondering where everybody's minds are. Are you guys all zombies now? Am I? And like, this is happening to kids. Are you guys gonna let the lunch ladies at the school scoop your kids' food out with no gloves, and then, oh, well, we're not touching the food, we're touching the handles that are brushing into the food. Did you put hand sanitizer on? Oh no, whoops. Oh, well, people that have special allergies shouldn't be working with food. They shouldn't be allowed to. And there should be a note if people are going into restaurants and they have somebody that has gloves that they're allergic to. You need to just make food at home, to save your child from being poisoned. They're important, but I mean, this is the whole entire world that's being sabotaged, especially, I've already made a video about the Golden Corral and places like that. You don't think much of it, but after you touch those tongs, who's the next person in line? They're touching the tongs right after you, and the person before you left their germs on the tongs, and then you're touching your plate and then your face. That's called contamination. It's illegal. They're making people sick on purpose, and nobody is standing up to the health department to say, wow, you guys should not have jurisdiction when somebody is presenting food in a public place. They're not wearing gloves and they do something, they could purposely stick their finger inside your food and say, oh, it's good, and get away with it. Oh, it's up to temp. They can get away with it because, do you have 20 seconds to grab your phone and record that happening? Anyways, so it's not about your companies, it's not about your cars, it's not about, and what I mean by companies is that it's not about how cool you are at your company. It's not about how cool you are at the store. It's not about, like, all this other drama. You have to stop, and literally, I had to draw a picture of what is actually going on. And it's negligence by you, by our community, by the state. You know what kind of people put their greedy hands in situations like this? And people are, when they get sick and COVID comes back in a homeless shelter, they contain it the best they can, but why is it happening? Because people are being handed food without gloves. They can't figure it out. And it's still happening. I can go and complain to the administration, which I already have. They just say, oh, make sure that the place is, presentable at Taco Bell. Make sure that people in the restaurant are, being polite. But if we see something, we're going to say something. And you know what? All of them protect each other. When somebody snitches, is how they see it, because everyone is so hateful so defensive and polarized? Do you want to be like everybody else? And if you don't, watch my next video. Anyways, you need to make sure that regardless of whatever the laws are, you still have the ability yourself to go into a McDonald's. You see this kind of stuff happening anywhere. If it's happening in India, you think it should be legal here? Those people stand on the counters with their bare feet. They set bowls on the floor next to their feet where they're kicking dirt around, and that is going into their kids' food, and they don't even care. Are they on drugs that you don't know about? It's sad. We glorify these people on Facebook every day because we're like, oh, they're poor, oh, this and that, but why are you on the ground like that? The last person I knew, and please don't take offense to this, that was on the ground was coming down off heroin. They were coming down, and these people are thin. Crisscross applesauce, hiding in the corners like all the time. Like, you don't want to judge every book by its cover, but dude, you're making food on the ground with bare feet, sticking your hands in it, wiping it on your sweats, dripping in it, and they're like, oh, it's India, it's culture, let's eat it. And then you go to the hospital, or your child goes to the hospital. Why? Okay, so in that, this is what I've learned by how traumatizing this year's been, but the collective consciousness of Satan is at its, like, the cliff, the edge. He's looking down at humanity like, why did they not stand up for themselves? There's a country in a war right now. The government does not want to make sure that you and your family are safe from germs. And also, Meta has created robotics and also a physical technology realm that you can buy that is a physical form of the astral that people can easily become addicted to, just like Xbox. Video games are addictive, and that combination, they know how to make people needy because they know that you're abused. And with that abuse, you try to cope with those issues by doing certain things that you think are therapeutic, but at the level of distraction with so many people in work right now, working parents can't keep track of this stuff to try to stay consistent with their kids when they're an only parent. I tried that and it's so hard. Like, it's not your fault, but just remember, your job ain't more important than your kids' well-being, and don't trust everybody around you. Even if you know there's a therapist out there, like, that's still a stranger, you know? Like, you try to reach out to get help, remember, when you jump into things and you try so hard, people are animals. You have to protect yourself. Remember, no matter what, believe your children. Believe your brothers and sisters and your friends. When they come to you and they say, well, I was by myself at the dentist or by myself at the therapist's office and they got sexually harassed by somebody and there wasn't anybody around to see it. Think about these things. If this is a continuous thing in your area, in your world, then I urge you to understand that is a huge sign of a failed community. That is a sign of a failed place to be, to live in. And to be honest, the city is not somewhere you want to be. I'm here where I am in the city that I am, and I urge people to go to small towns. Period. We are at the end times, and it is not okay to rely off teachers and coworkers and bosses that do not communicate with you. Like, small towns are safe. They have people that are realistic because they're close to nature, and growing up, it has a lot to do with their school system that they grew up in. So I mean, that from birth is very valuable. But anyways, Satan is not happy. He's not happy with how people are just following. They're letting their kids get on Facebook. Like, it's a rampant thing that people just sit back. They literally lean back and think, wow, I don't have to worry about this. And even if I tried to say something, it's not going to matter. Why would you? You should try. Go to city councils. Go to take the time out of your day to um, make sure you have everything that you need before the government and the world goes to crap, because we're in very, very unpredictable times. Um, they're not confronting pedophilia on Facebook. Like, police are like, well, whose Facebook is it? Who are you reporting? And they're like, okay, well, we'll take the report. And then they have no idea what to do because they don't have a physical address. You have to call the FBI, and then 6 months later, nothing happens. 5 years ago, something would happen. Someone would confront these criminals, these child abusers. This is the life that, this is the world that is rooted in our planet, that this generation is going to let the children of our future walk into. Like, we are raising little soldiers, if you care. You can't just throw your kids out there, by the way. Anyways, but everybody needs to start prepping. People are wasting material. They're wasting food because it looks cool on Facebook. Oh, they're doing it, so I'm going to do it. How much of that did you waste, and why? Why is it so important to know this? Because everything costs money. Everything is material that you worked hard for, spent your money on just to have, and you're not using it correctly, and it's going down the drain. The only thing that should be made an exception for is if your child needs to express themselves creatively. You should be learning how to do this online with instructions, and get everything from the dollar store, because there are so many people right now that watch Facebook and they're like, oh, we should do that. They create things and they just destroy it, let it sit, and then throw everything away. Just like there's greedy rich people that do that with pools. Lucifer is literally up in the sky watching all these greedy, evil people irresponsibly spend and then waste their money on things that they don't need. They're ungrateful. They don't take the time to think about what really matters in their life to better themselves, so they stop abusing other people. That's what Lucifer is all about, enlightenment. He might be the Prince of Darkness, but the reason why he's called the Prince of Darkness is because he wants you to look into yourself, to not be afraid. That's why he shows himself and is a big demon god with huge wings. He's a white male, guys, he's the darkness, but he will talk to you and help you to understand that this world will only come to an end because people are stupid. And as a offended as people might be for me saying that, I don't want to be that person. You know, you got to be saving your money, making the right choices. You want to have fun, make sure you plan things before you do it. Like, give it thought, months, plan, years planning. People should not be having kids, by the way. If you don't know what you're doing with your life, please stop with, you know, teen pregnancies. Honestly, this is a hidden thing. It's an epidemic, and the encouragement of the Christian religions to be compassionate. People need to have a license to have a child. You need to have your parenting classes before you have a child and bring a child into the world, because there's a bunch of idiots out here that don't know what they're doing. And to me, this sounds really evil. Like, there shouldn't be Nazis out there. But I mean, if there are so many negligent parents, they're letting their kids run the streets and repopulating the planet like it's being. They're not able to finish school. They're not able to get a job. People end up on the streets, end up homeless, and they just keep getting into the cycle of getting services instead of being independent because they're being babied. But it's because in human development, why teen pregnancy is evil and shouldn't happen is because the traumas of their life are embedded in these people's subconsciousness, even after the age of 20. If you do not succeed in your own life goals by a certain amount of time, by the time you're 18, you're going to start hating yourself. And people who use drugs and they're told by their hypochondriac parents that they have bipolar and all this stuff, depression, they get rejected. You know, there's abuses out there that people don't see, but I know a lot of cases that could be easily fixed by parents understanding that they need to encourage their children and watch them. Like, kids that are 10, you shouldn't be letting your kids walk the street by themselves until they're about 13 years old, and they should have a cell phone. You know why? Because there's rapists. And this is a subject that will be for another video, but it has to do with the safety, well-being of your kids. And I'm just trying to reach out to the world because things need to change. And people, your kids are being programmed at birth to be stupid, dependent off others for everything, being cool. And Christians think that it's the devil. No, it's people that create these cartoons. It's people that create this music. It's people that hire these evil people and put them in power because they know how to be puppet masters. So if you don't understand how that works, and you want to blame a God, you want to blame Satan for all this, then you're a person that probably doesn't take accountability for what they do wrong. You sit on your knees and you say, "Oh, Jesus, please forgive me." And just because you said that, you're forgiven. And if you truly meant it with your heart, just by saying that, you think that magic is going to happen inside of your mind, and then his energy and love is going to come and fix all that psychological stuff inside of your brain. No. We need spiritual atheists in power. The Christian foundation of this country needs to stop. It needs to end. I'm not attacking Christians, but that should be an optional faith. It shouldn't be the foundation of our country anymore, because what is it doing to the youth? What is it doing to people's psyche? It's suppressing you because you're not confronting the actual problems. It's becoming mud in the back of your brain. You can't just be cured with magic. You have to face, just like Satan says, you have to face these situations in your life and confront them with counseling and therapy, because then you'll have a breakthrough. And when you have breakthrough, you actually know and understand, and in your mind, what happened, why it's happening, and how to fix it. Not beating around the bush, not avoiding it. And you know what? This kind of confrontation with love and compassion will actually help weed out people who are abusing you. Even friends, even ex-lovers. You'll be like, oh, I remember how they acted. I remember how this person was treating me. Then you should know it's not your fault. And you'll learn not to blame yourself and give yourself credit every single day, affirmations every single day, so that you can keep going. And remember to be empathetic and compassionate towards yourself. We need an atheist, a spiritual atheist foundation to this country. We need to take back our country with the truth, with spiritual atheism, without religion as a foundation. And Satanism, I believe, can do this. We need to make sure that you know they're trying to abolish abortion in every single country, in every single state, and every single country Christians put their hands into. And that's what I mean by trying to abolish it from the world. Because what if we fail? What if the atheists somehow get taken over by some Catholic siege again, and they start to move around to all these different countries and abolish abortion? What about when somebody's raped? That child, 16, whatever, rape victim, does not deserve to give birth to a child at that age. Christians are protecting the criminals, and this is heresy. This is tyranny against humanity, that we have evil human beings that are brainwashed. It's not all your fault, but I mean, at a certain age, you got to realize that children are being attacked. So I'll make another video noting this, that the root of the issues could easily be confronted if people were being realistic. And Christianity is a parasite. So if you as a Christian are not, you are a human being, and I care about you. I am, I came out of Christianity growing up. I had to pretty much fix myself in foster care. And the only thing, this is a unique story that'll be for some other time, but I found Satan, and I'm lucky. I'm one of those lucky people that have been able to heal myself, and all the healing, it doesn't come from where you need to start is understanding that where you should be healing first is in your mind. So please watch my mind videos, and this will also tie into how we are treating youth and what kind of examples are we setting for our future generation is what's going to really help change the world, because there's teenagers that are drowning right now in all of this in sadness, and it's because they're being handled. Like the system itself is created to attack specific people. Like that's why it's so challenging in our realm, like the physical realm, because we have evil. Evil does exist, and your Jesus ain't gonna take it away. Fact, science, and law is going to do that. So anyways, I hope you like this video. I hope that you come to my next video and please listen to it. We're at the end. Like there's no way that this world is going to change without people coming together as a community. It doesn't matter what your beliefs are, but you should be able to set your religious beliefs aside and say, wow, I'm a human being. I care about my community and I want to do something to help. Become a contributor to something that matters in an appropriate way. And people need to be opening the doors for people, saying please and thank you more. Like, where did everybody go? I was raised, by old-fashioned people, and that's just something you don't see anymore. Like, there's just so much hate. I'm me and Satan are like, where did everybody go? Thank you.